This week, if you filled up a car in the United States, you paid close to $4 a gallon, the highest prices of the year. If you live in Britain, your energy regulator just raised the price cap by 13%. Gas bills alone up 24%. If you're in Canada, you're watching the strangest split in the country's economy. Oil companies posting windfalls, while you pay more at the pump. 3 countries, 3 different bills, 1 cause. A strip of water, 21 miles wide, 7,000 miles away from your driveway. We've been reading your comments. The most common question by far is some version of this. We don't even buy Iranian oil. Why am I paying for this war? That is exactly the right question. And in the next 20 minutes, we're going to answer it completely. The choke point, the war, the price shock, your pump, your bills, the gas facility that changed everything, the naval standoff your government is being pulled into, and the 3 ways this ends. This is the only video you need. Let's begin. The Persian Gulf is, functionally, a bathtub. Inside it sit some of the largest oil and gas producers on Earth: Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, and Iran. That bathtub has exactly one drain, the Strait of Hormuz. A bending waterway connecting the Gulf to the open ocean, about 21 miles wide at its narrowest point. Through that drain flows roughly 1/5 of all the oil traded on this planet. Every single day, tankers the length of skyscrapers, moving in shipping lanes just a few miles across, with Iranian territory running the entire northern shore. Now, the question from the comments. America barely imports Gulf crude. Canada is a major oil exporter, so why should Hormuz matter to you?
There is no such thing as your country's oil price. It is a global market. Supply, demand, and speculation drive it, not national borders.
Oil is sold on one global market, one pool. When 1/5 of the world's supply is threatened, anywhere, buyers everywhere start bidding up every remaining barrel, whether it was pumped in Texas, Alberta, or the North Sea. The price of the barrel your local refinery buys moves with the price of the barrel a refinery in Singapore buys. Energy independence is real. Price independence is a myth. No border stops a global price, which means the moment somebody threatened that 21-mile drain, every driver in Dallas, Toronto, and Manchester was in the blast radius.
So how did we get here?
February 28, 2026. In a coordinated operation, the United States and Israel launched airstrikes deep into Iran, targeting its leadership and its nuclear infrastructure. The largest direct assault on Iran in the modern era. Tehran's response did not stay inside its borders. Drone and missile attacks spread across the region, on oil fields in Iraq and the United Arab Emirates. One drone strike temporarily shut down Dubai's airport, one of the busiest travel hubs on Earth. Israel widened its campaign into Lebanon, where more than 1 million people, roughly 1/5 of the country's entire population, have been displaced. And then Iran played its oldest, most powerful card. It declared the Strait of Hormuz closed and threatened to set fire to any ship that tried to pass. Understand what that threat did. It didn't need to sink a single tanker to work. Shipping is a business of insurance and risk. The moment the threat was credible, the world's shipping giants halted operations and rerouted their fleets. The numbers are staggering. Before the war, more than 130 ship transits through the strait every day. After, fewer than 10. In a single day of war, oil shipments through Hormuz collapsed by 86%, and the human cost has been severe. According to officials in each country, more than 1,300 dead in Iran, around 880 in Lebanon, 12 in Israel, and 13 American service members killed, with roughly 200 wounded.
That is the war of missiles. Now let's follow the second war, the one that shows up on your receipt.
The International Energy Agency, the world's energy watchdog, described what followed as the largest supply disruption in the history of the global oil market, larger than the Gulf War, larger than the shock after Russia invaded Ukraine. Brent crude, the global benchmark, surged past $100 a barrel for the first time since 2022. At the peak of the crisis, it was up roughly 45%, above $106. And oil was only half the story. European natural gas futures jumped by nearly 50% because the Gulf doesn't just ship oil. It ships liquefied natural gas, the fuel that heats homes and powers grids across Europe and Britain.
Here's a detail that tells you how much fear was priced into every single barrel.
When a ceasefire was announced, oil prices fell 14% in a day. That 14% wasn't supply returning. It was pure war risk, evaporating on a headline. And when strikes resumed, that risk premium came right back. Now, in those first days, some analysts offered reassurance. A slowdown lasting a week or two, they said, could be absorbed by the industry. Oil companies hold inventories, strategic reserves exist. They were right about a week or two. This has not been a week or two. And the longer a choke point stays choked, the more the damage stops being about barrels and starts being about economies.
So let's split the pain by country, because it arrives at your door differently depending on which flag flies over it.
The national average gas price climbed to its highest level of the year, around $3.60 a gallon, with plenty of regions staring down $4 and beyond. West Texas Intermediate, the American crude benchmark, punched through $100 a barrel. And this is where American viewers hit the paradox. The United States is the largest oil producer in human history. It pumps more crude than Saudi Arabia, more than Russia. For years, politicians of both parties have promised that this production means energy dominance, insulation from exactly this kind of foreign chaos.
So why is the world's biggest producer paying war prices?
Because of the rule from Segment 1. American oil is sold at the global price. When Hormuz choked and the global price jumped, the price of Texas crude jumped with it. American producers didn't shield American drivers, they simply earned more per barrel, selling into a panicked world market. Domestic production protects the country from shortages. It has never protected consumers from prices.
There is no pipeline long enough to escape a global market. And if the American version of this pain is measured at the pump, the British version is measured somewhere colder, the meter on the wall.
Britain imports a large share of its energy, which makes it exposed, directly and brutally, to global supply shocks. After the war began, UK wholesale gas prices nearly doubled. And in July, the consequences reached every household in England, Scotland and Wales. The regulator, Ofgem, raised its energy price cap by 13%. The regulator's own chief executive tied the increase directly to the conflict in the Middle East. Forecasters had seen it coming. Analysts projected rises of roughly £300 on typical annual bills, and one leading think tank warned that if wartime prices held, households could ultimately pay around £500 more per year, with the poorest families hit hardest, because they spend more than twice the share of their income on energy compared to wealthier households. And it doesn't stop at energy. Britain imports roughly 40% of its food. Every link of that supply chain, ships, trucks, warehouses, runs on fuel. When fuel rises, the supermarket shelf follows.
Now, Canada. And Canada is the strangest case of the three. It's unique, puzzling. The strangest case.
Canada is an energy superpower, one of the world's great oil exporters. So when Brent surges, Alberta's producers and the Treasury collecting their royalties win. Every dollar the war adds to a barrel is revenue flowing into the Canadian economy. But Canadian drivers buy fuel at that same global price. So the same war enriches one part of the country while squeezing every household in it. One nation, simultaneously a winner and a loser from a conflict on the other side of the planet.
But here is what most coverage misses. Even during ceasefires, even when tankers move, the prices haven't returned to normal. And the reason is a wound that cannot be patched with diplomacy.
Qatar is one of the most important energy suppliers on Earth, a giant of liquefied natural gas. Much of that gas flows from a single, colossal industrial complex, Ras Laffan. During the war, missile strikes damaged that facility. Qatar declared force majeure, the legal declaration that it simply cannot fulfill its export contracts. One of the world's top gas suppliers pulled off the market. And this is the crucial part. Analysts assess that some of that lost capacity will take years to rebuild. Think about what that means. A blocked strait is a problem of will, reopen the water, and the ships come back in days. But melted, twisted, precision-struck industrial infrastructure is a problem of physics. No ceasefire rebuilds a gas train. That is why experts warned British households that bills would keep rising even after the shooting paused. The global gas market lost real, physical capacity, and every remaining cargo now has more buyers chasing it. Europe's next winter will be priced against that shortage. This is the part of the story that will outlive the war itself. The missiles will stop before the invoices do.
Which brings us to the question every Allied capital is now arguing about. Whose navy fixes this?
This story will move again.
Probably suddenly, probably without warning. Subscribe and turn on notifications. Because when Hormuz changes, this channel will tell you exactly what it means for your pump and your bills. Stay tuned for the updates that matter. And tell us in the comments which thread you want pulled next: the Allied Naval Coalition or how Qatar's gas outage will decide Europe's winter. Until then, stay informed, stay sharp. This is the Newsroom Global.